The 417 Gamers is a group of board, tabletop, and card gamers in the 417 area code. This is the podcast. Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast, episode 23, Expansion Edition. In the 4, Andrea and I talk about 4 things we're looking at in and around the 417 area. We talk about the Japanese Fall Festival. We talk about the Farmers Market. We talk about Meeple-a-Thon happening up in Kansas City in September. And we talk about painting with a twist and the fourth wing painting that was. In the 1 topic of the show, we review a game. We review the tableau building, open drafting game, Forest Shuffle. And in the 7, Seth from Metagames Unlimited comes back on. We put him through the 7 questions, and we talk about his favorite 7 games. Let's get on with the show. Welcome to the 417 Gamer Podcast. My name's Rick.
And I'm Andrea.
In the 4, we talk about 4 things that we're looking forward to, or like to feature, or maybe we've enjoyed in the 417 area or the surrounding areas. Sometimes we have things that we venture slightly out of the 417 area.
We do.
Andrea, I would like to start if you don't mind.
Go ahead. Feel free.
I think we talked about it last year, but we're going to try and do it again this year. The Japanese Fall Festival. This is the 28th Japanese Fall Festival.
Wow.
This takes place at the
Japanese Stroll Gardens.
Yeah, it's the Motozumo Stroll Garden at the back of the Nathaniel Green Park.
Yes.
It's on the west side of town, just off of Scenic. And there's events that's held all days, Friday, September 6th through Sunday, September 8th. Mm-hmm. There's classes, there's exhibitions, there's dances, there's music. Each year they've had food trucks that have gathered there. They do it. It's very, very entertaining.
Yes. They've got booths. They've got vendors.
Vendors.
It's so much fun.
And so go to peacethroughpeople.org if you'd like to buy your tickets in advance. Mm-hmm. And or if you'd like to see what vendors and activities that they have on the schedule. And
they always post their scheduled events before.
They do. Andrea, what are you looking forward to or enjoying?
Well, I have both looking forward to and have been enjoying the farmers market.
Yeah.
Because there are more than one to choose from now. Which is really great for me. Especially the Thursday evening farmers market on Commercial Street.
Yeah.
Because it starts at 4 and the other farmers markets are Saturday morning.
Supposedly there's a Saturday evening on the square, which we haven't tapped yet.
We haven't.
And I don't know that we're going to get to, but it sounds interesting.
And we might. I think that is great because I do not like to get up early on Saturday. And
morning people.
We have gone in the later afternoon to the farmer's market at like 11 or noon. And there it's still going and you can still buy the things. But it's just hot as the dickens.
The dickens is pretty hot.
It is.
We went a few Fridays ago and we got some fresh bread.
Yes, and that was the one that's in the Battlefield Mall parking lot. Mm-hmm. There is also one Saturday morning at the actual farmers market complex down there by the Hilton Garden Inn.
Yeah, over off of Republic Road and the little turnoff to get onto James River.
Yes. And I bet that they had over 50 stalls at the booth at the Battlefield Mall.
Yeah, there's quite a few people there.
I was impressed.
There was some Amish stuffs. Mm-hmm. There was some people making some empanadas.
Yeah.
They smelled really good.
Oh,
we went to the creepy place.
We did get some crepes.
We did. We got some creepies.
And they had, there was a big freezer truck that had grass-fed beef. Mm-hmm. They had the traditional fruits and vegetable stands. It was really fun.
Yeah, we had made from scratch lemonades. They were pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And there was a live music.
There was some herb-induced honeys and breads and brownies and stuff like that, if you're of that.
Uh-huh.
I think somebody was making vegan dog treats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was somebody that had handcrafted, raffia sunflowers and different, things that they had made.
Yeah, we got some homemade breads.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
It was nice. Number 3, I'd like to talk about a board game convention, but this one's up in Kansas City. Meeple-a-Thon will take place September 27th through the 29th. It'll be up at the Hy-Vee Arena, which is located at 1800 Genesee Street in Kansas City, Missouri. Go to Meeple-a-Thon.com if you'd like to get some tickets. Meeple-a-Thon is a 501c3 charity that benefits at-risk youth. One of the founders experienced homelessness and knew how hard it was to get help, and sometimes for somebody themselves to ask for help.
Yeah.
So the charity, that they have at-risk youth at their hearts. So it started at a small convention that I think maxed at 50 people, and they've grown this sucker, and it's a good time. We've got a lot of people in the 417Gamer group that are planning on heading up there if they haven't already bought their tickets. Sansu, that teaches at Village Meeple, the demo days on Fridays, she's going to be heading up there. I think Eric Spidermonkey had expressed interest of headed up there.
Yeah.
And they've reached out and asked us if we would share some of their stuff. So we've shared their convention on the 417Gamer group on Facebook, and we'd like to give them a shout out on the podcast as well.
Absolutely. Great cause.
Andrea, the fourth thing you have enjoyed or look forward to?
Both again, I have enjoyed, and I'm also looking forward to Paint Night. It's one of the paint and sip paint classes on South Campbell. It is painting with a twist. And we went last week and we did a painting of 3 dragons. It's from the book The Fourth Wing. What was interesting to me was that the dragons, there are 3 dragons, one was black, one was gold, and one was blue. And in Game of Thrones, Khaleesi's 3 dragons were black, gold, and green. So I mixed some green with my blue paint so that my painting can either be Game of Thrones or The Fourth Wing. And it is not the only book type painting that they're doing. They're doing some more Fourth Wing and some other dragon paintings. They always have some sort of nerd. Last year, I know they did a lot of Doctor Who things. They always do Harry Potter, things like that. So painting with a twist. Check out their page either on Facebook or on the web, which is just paintingwithatwist.com. It is 344 South Campbell, Suite G in the Shamrock Center.
Yeah, I didn't actually know what book this was from because I've not read it. And I didn't know if you had read it or not because I know you love your dragons.
I do.
But you have the book. You just haven't got to read it yet.
I purchased a first edition, but I haven't read it yet.
I just saw dragons and I figured you'd like to paint dragons.
I love it. It's wonderful.
So
now I just have to hang it.
Well, you gotta hang yours.
Well, we can make yours pretty too.
No, we're gonna hide mine.
Okay.
Or I'm gonna hide mine. You'll be like, "What happened to yours?" I'm like, "Berry dog."
The dog chewed it up. The dog ate it.
So that was the 4 on the 417 Gamers. Let's go on to the one topic of the show, which I think we're reviewing something.
Yes, we are.
Do you remember what we're reviewing?
No, I don't.
That's fine. We'll figure it out next segment.
I'm as clueless as our listeners.
Hey guys, we're going to have Seth on here later in the show, but we want to give a shout out to Metagames Unlimited. Metagames Unlimited is Southwest Missouri's friendly local game store of choice. They're located at 3309 East Sunshine. Tons of Magic cards if you're into that, miniature games, board games, and a large play space. If you want to play games with us, come out Thursdays from 6 to close, but come out to Metagames Unlimited. The one topic of the show is a review, and we're reviewing the Tableau Building Forest Shuffle. Forest Shuffle is designed by, I think it's Koch or Coke, published by Lookout Spiel Games. It came out this year, 2023. Here is the write-up from Board Game Geek. In Forest Shuffle, players compete to gather the most valuable trees, then attract species to these trees, thus creating an ecologically balanced habitat for flora and fauna. Basically, on a player's turn, they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to add things to their forest, be it trees, flora, or fauna, or they're going to draw more cards. If they play a tree, or flora or fauna, in the top left corner of the card, there are costs. You have to pay those out of hand with other cards. You discard them to a board in the center that's called the clearing. If you play a tree, you also must flip out the top card from the deck. That goes in the clearing as well. When you draw cards, you have to draw your first card from the top down of the stack of the deck.
Yes.
The deck.
Right. Everyone knows what the deck is.
But you get to draw two cards. The second one, you can either draw anything face up that's still in the clearing, or you can draw another one that's face down in the deck. At the end of your turn, if there's more than 10 cards in the clearing, they all go to a discard pile that cannot be touched. Although I'm wondering if in future expansions you might have an animal that might let you rifle through that.
There might be.
I mean, that's I think that's an easy animal to go.
Yes.
Gophering. No.
Ba-dum-bum-bum.
So when we review games, we review by 5 criteria. We look at presentation. How does it look on your shelf? How many times do you want to pull it off? How does it look on the table? Does it sell itself? Both in a retail aspect and in a home aspect.
Sure.
Components rulebook, gameplay, theme, and then it factor. How much do you really want to play it right now? Then we give a final grade. We divide by the possible points because each one of these are graded roughly 0 to 5. You can put any decimals if you wish, just to be cheeky.
I plan to.
And you plan to. Then we get our grade. Andrew, your presentation, how would you say Forest Shuffle does?
It's hard to grade because it's a little card game in a little card box. So it doesn't have the shelf presence of, say, an Ark Nova or a Lost Ruins of Arnak. So
But it also has a smaller price point, too.
it sure does. So that's a little more eye-catching. The art, I love the art, is really good. It's actually above average, I would say, as far as the art goes for cards. I'll give it a 3.5.
You get 3.5?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give this a 3.75. And the reason why I'm going to do this is because we're going to get to this in the components and the gameplay. It's a table hog. When people come by and they see all the cards in a line and then they see everybody's cards and how you shift them to build it, because once you play a tree, then each tree can take an animal to the left, to the right, to the top, and the bottom. All the animal cards are split down the center, and you have to decide, because there's 2 animals or flora and fauna on each card.
Yes.
You have to decide which one you're going to use. And it's deceptive because it's a thick stack of cards, but once you start filling up your table, I mean, you can kind of crunch a little bit more than what I do.
Yeah.
But then it becomes so busy you can't really pay attention, or I can't pay attention to what I'm trying to do.
And because some of the cards are a one-time off and some of them have ongoing effects that affect the other cards that you're playing or drawing, so you have to keep referring back to the cards you've already played.
But yeah, the box itself has got nice critters on it, but it's a little bit dark. I don't think it sells itself as well as it could on the retail shelf. Otherwise, I'd pop it up maybe a little bit more.
Sure.
But as far as getting people to come by and go, ooh, what's that? It gets
once it's on the table.
For a $30, $25, $30 card game on the table, it does its job there.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm at a 3.75.
Okay.
Components and rulebook. The cards are good quality. That was one of our gripes about 1.5 years, almost 2 years ago with Scout. Is for Oink Games' Scout game, I did not like the finish on the games. After like 4 or 5 games, the cards were coming up grimy.
They're tacky.
Now, in Forest Shuffle, we played this quite a few times, and the cards were not getting grimy. However, one of the cards got sacrificed
to the puppy dog.
After that, I decided we're going to sleeve the sucker.
And we did.
We did. Not only that, we used the board game brand sleeves because they come with tuck boxes. Mm-hmm. And I like those.
Yeah.
So we used that to organize our game, and that's how they shove back into the box.
Now, we also have the expansion.
We do. The Alpine expansion.
Yes. So that gives it a little more, you do when you play with the expansion, you take out more cards as well.
It gives you more variability.
So, yeah.
But as far as just components, the rule book I thought was pretty easy to get through.
Yeah.
I read it and I understood it. I really didn't need a video. I did watch a video after our first play just to verify. There was a couple issues. We'll get into gameplay a little bit later. But you're given a cave card. Everybody has a cave card. And I couldn't understand what you did with the cave card because my first play, I never saw animals that used the cave.
Right.
And in the base, there's only 2.
Yes.
But component-wise, the rulebook's easy to read. The inserts, the stupid little trough, and I tossed it. The cards are good quality.
They are.
But beyond that, the components... They're good, but they don't set the world on fire. So there again, I'm going to put it at a 3. I'm going to go 3.6. Not quite 3.5, but a 3.6. Good quality cards. You know what? 3.75 because I really like the artwork of the animals on the card.
Okay. I'm going to go 3.5 again. Again, it's hard to compare... Well, I guess suppose compared to other just decks of card games.
So look at Fantasy Realms.
Yeah. Okay,
Scout.
3.75 then, because the art is really good.
Yes. So then we get to gameplay. In the game, it is drafting. It's open draft. You see a game in there, or you draw from a deck, and then it's hand management and tableau building. You pop out a tree, and then you put some animals around the tree. Then you get some more cards, and you keep on going. The gameplay's not hard.
It's not hard, but it's not easy either because the first time you and I played it, we struggled a hair, and then we introduced another couple to it, and it took them close to halfway to 3/4 way through the game to be like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
So your first play, you may struggle a bit. But we have played the heck out of this.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Both at home as 2-player and taking it to game nights. Because it is small enough to fit in the game bag. It doesn't take up much space. And we like it that much. We have played it over and over.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to give this a 3.75. You talked me down. I was going to give this a 4.
Really?
Yeah. Because I really like the gameplay. I like the drafting. But you're right. For a family weight game...
That first play
is a little bit rougher than what it should be.
I agree.
And maybe it's just the style of game because the gameplay where you're tucking cards under trees, I've not seen that a lot.
Yes.
So the gameplay is when you're playing your forest, you have to have a tree first. And then when you play your animals, they can be played to the left of the tree or the right of the tree. And when you play them that way, you're tucking the animal you're not going to use.
Right.
And then some animals get straight points. Some animals, flora and fauna, I should say as well, because there's strawberries, there's moss, there's ferns.
Yeah. It's the ongoing effects and the immediate effects differences that it takes you a minute to remember what the iconography.
Yeah. Because there's a binocular effect that some cards get, which means whenever you pay for them, you need to pay for the color symbol that they are in the top right-hand corner. You need to pay all cards with that symbol, and then you get the bonus that the binocular little caret points to.
Right.
Which could be draft some more cards. It could be take another turn. It could be play an animal for free.
And even after we've played this a dozen times, every once in a while, I'll still miss one. I was like, oh, shoot, I was supposed to draw a second card on that one. Oh, well, my turn's over. I just missed out. So
yeah,
it's a little more, it's a little chunkier.
Yeah. So what are you going to give?
3.5.
3.5. That's where we're going to bring the theme for a little card game. I feel like this is way more thematic than Fantasy Realms. I feel like this is more thematic than most just simple, just a deck of cards. maybe Noobs in Space might have been slightly more thematic with a deck of cards than this.
Yeah.
But not by much.
Yeah, even like birds or, I don't know. They've nailed it on theme.
So I'm going to give this a 4.25.
Yeah.
And maybe it should be higher because I can't think, you know what, I've talked myself into a 4.4.
And I'm going to beat you by a 4.5.
All right. Because for a card game,
yeah,
it does pretty well with its theme. I mean, you got a tree and you need critters around it. And
the birds go on top of the tree. The ferns go at the bottom of the tree. Deer goes on the left side and the wolf goes on the right.
Now we get into it factor. That's how much you want to play this game. Andrea, how much do you want to play this game?
Look, I'm going to give it... I've given a lot of 3.5s, but my desire to play this game, 4.25.
4.25?
I really enjoy this game, and I don't feel like I've mastered it yet. A lot of our card games that we play repetitiously, I'm like, oh, okay, we can play that again. This one, I still don't feel like I've mastered, and I'm still enjoying it.
Well, I love this game. I love the tableau building. I love the drafting. I like looking at other people's forests and see what strategies they're going after.
Oh, yeah.
I watched somebody trying to go almost strictly a tree strategy. She doesn't do very well, but I also don't think she maximized a couple of the trees. The horse chestnut, it has a collection bonus. Like 1 is worth 1, 2 is worth 3, 3 is worth 6, and it keeps on jumping up. It maxes out, I think, at like 35 points.
Yes,
But then you have, I think it's the beeches. The beeches, if you have at least 5 in your forest, 4 in your forest, every one of those are now worth 5 points.
Right.
Sycamores, you get a point for every tree in your forest. And I think that person had some birches, and the birches are little droopy trees that are only worth a point.
Right.
And I understand to start off, you put a little birch out there to get some animals
going.
But
they don't count anything. They don't cost you any cards to play.
Don't.
It's 0 to play. So if you know
0
that
cost for a point.
So they have their place.
But it factor, I'm at a 4.75. I'd play it right now.
Really?
I'd play it tomorrow. I play it this Thursday.
Okay.
And it might be the new Earworm song where I'm going to play it until it's dead, and then like next month it'd be like, I played that enough.
Right.
Because that's the way I did Scout for a little bit.
It's true.
Played it. And I, if somebody brought it out, I would play it, but It's not the one I'm grabbing for right now.
Understood.
So, we're looking at a grade total. Andrea, presentation, you are at a 3.5. Components and rulebook, you are at a 3.75. Gameplay, you're at a 3.5. Theme, you're at a 4.5. It factor, you're at a 4.25, which brought the combined numbers 19.5. You divide it by total possible points. Your score for Shuffle is 78.
Pretty good.
I was a little bit higher all around, except for you beat me on the theme, which is fine. Presentation, I was 3 3/4. Components for rulebook, 3 3/4. Gameplay, guess what?
3 3/4.
Yeah. Theme, I was down by you by a point of a point. 4.4. It factor, 4.75, which puts me at 20.4. My final score is an 81.6. Let's round that up to an 82.
Do it.
Yeah. If we didn't have other stuff that we had to do tonight, which we got other stuff we got to do tonight, I would absolutely throw this out on the table and we will play it.
And I would enjoy it as well.
That is Forest Shuffle, published by Lookout Games. Play the game. So much fun.
Play the game. Get the expansion.
Yeah, the Alpine expansion is great. It adds a couple more trees, adds a handful more animals, adds some new symbols, but mechanically, it doesn't add anything new mechanically.
It's just different cards.
More cards, and it doesn't add a whole lot more time because it tells you to cull some cards out.
Depending on the player count.
It tells you after you've shuffled all your cards up, you take out 10 cards, period, and then based on this plays 2 to 5, out of how many players you got, that's how many cards you're going to take out. But go play some Forest Shuffle.
Do it.
I think we're going to bring Seth back for the 7.
Yeah, he's just right around the corner, isn't he?
Well, yeah, maybe. Seth?
Hello, Seth.
All right, we'll get him in the 7. Meeple-a-Thon is coming up here September 27th through the 29th in Kansas City. Meeple-a-Thon is a once-a-year, family-friendly board game extravaganza benefiting the Hillcrest Platte County's Young Adult Housing Program. If you're interested in going to Meeple-a-Thon or becoming an exhibitor, go to Meeple-a-Thon.com for more details. Meeple-a-Thon will be held at the Hy-Vee Arena, 1800 Genesee Street, Kansas City, Missouri. September 27th, 28th, 29th. We'll see you there. Meeple-a-Thon.com. The 7 in the 417Gamer podcast is our favorite 7 in a category. We convinced Seth to come back for episode 20, this is actually episode 23 expansion edition on the 20th. Seth, hello.
Hey. Glad to be back.
We're going to make you a guinea pig. Because we started, when we've had people on, we just had them give us their favorite 7 games. But we added 7 questions also.
Okay.
So, we're going to see how this goes, and I hope it goes well. So, the first question, what is the earliest game you remember playing?
I mean, I've been playing games for a long time. Definitely the earliest games that I played, I think probably the earliest one I can remember would be Chutes and Ladders, probably.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta love a game that's entirely about luck, and I've been told I'm a very lucky person, so it's probably why I enjoyed it so much. The earliest modern style board game I think I can remember is playing Settlers of Catan in high school.
Yeah.
And that really was what opened my eyes to the world beyond.
I probably need to split that question because I like both of those answers.
Yeah, thank you.
Number 2, what color do you prefer to play as?
Blue, every time. Blue is my number one color. Anytime I can't play it, I'm heartbroken.
Oh.
Happens so.
Number 3, gaming conventions. What's your favorite gaming convention?
Well, it's so funny that you ask. I've only been to one, Rick. So I gotta say, Moon City Con has my vote for best convention.
We appreciate it. We had a good time.
It was a very good time.
Number 4, how many games... No. Do you prefer to play solo, 2-player, or multiplayer games? And which do you actually get to play more of?
It's a really good question. I love dynamics in a multiplayer game, especially with 4 players. I feel like there's always a lot of fun interaction. If my trade isn't going very well with you, I can go over and look at you, and I can try and make it work that way. But I think, above all, I really, really enjoy 2-player games, and those are the ones I get to play the most of.
Yeah.
I'll often even, games that do go up to 4 players, I usually play them 2-player.
Yeah.
I think it's more interesting to kind of try and look into the soul of one opponent than try and strike up.
Oh, is that what you want to do? Number 5, how many games are in your personal collection? Estimate.
Jeez. I think the last time that I counted, I had about 70. I'm looking to try and cut that, maybe even in half.
Yeah.
I know I've only gotten a few games since then,
Why?
though, so we're probably... I'm trying to get everything to fit nicely on one Kallax.
Right.
That's the dream. I don't know
How big is
like
your Kallax?
the
You just
standard
add
4.
add to the shelves.
Yeah.
Don't take away the game.
Is it like 4 cubes or is it 8 cubes?
I've got the 8 cubes.
You got
I got the 8
Okay.
cubes.
Like, is it
I'm
like
not
a
a
5 by
monster.
5?
Yeah. But then, I've also got a dozen jigsaw puzzles I'll never get to play again since we got cats. So
There's a on Facebook. There's a Springfield puzzle group that I created.
Oh.
So people can either
Trade.
sell their or trade their puzzles with each other.
fantastic.
So it's hit or miss. Sometimes it works. Sometimes people just puzzle and want to keep their puzzle, which would by all means.
Yeah.
Number 6. Is there a game that you haven't won but really want to?
Oh man, Pandemic Legacy. I have played Pandemic probably about 30 times, just the basic one, and
Yeah.
I've only won that one once. And I don't even know how it happened. I know I'll talk to people sometimes and they say, oh yeah, Pandemic's so easy. Once you know the formula, it's so easy. I say, I don't know the formula.
I don't know the formula, but I can beat it on easy pretty regularly. Hard, I'm probably like 30%.
We-
Legendary once.
We accidentally put it to super baby mode once. We put fewer epidemic cards in the deck than we were supposed to. Still lost. We still lost. And then we started playing Pandemic Legacy and have not gotten a single win in that so far.
Oh.
So, but we'll keep at it.
All right. One piece of advice you'd send back to yourself as you were just getting into the hobby.
I think one thing I'd like to tell myself whenever I was getting into the hobby would be, don't be afraid to enjoy simple games. You know, I used to always shift the blame, be like, oh yeah, I play a lot of Dungeon Mayhem because my friends won't ever learn a harder game. But you know what I found out recently is that I like those games just as much as everybody else. A game is only good if you can get it on the table, is what I say a lot. And
that is true.
I am unashamedly a easy game enjoyer now.
Sometimes the game you can get on the table is better than the one sitting on the shelf that won't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the 7 questions. Thank you for guinea pigging that.
It's great 7 questions. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now it's time we talk about your favorite 7 games.
Favorite 7.
Yeah.
Well, lately my current obsession has still been Fantasy Realms.
Okay.
Fantasy Realms has just been dominating my life. I cannot get enough of it. I keep on showing it to people's. I'll go over to their house and say, "Hey, by the way, I brought this game. Maybe we should try it out. You ever played Gin Rummy? Maybe you'll like this one." That one's still been going. I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but I've been really enjoying Things and Rings a lot.
Yeah.
It's a newer game from All Play. It's if you've ever played Green Glass Door, which is just kind of a verbal game. I've been told it's a theater kid game. I don't know. I didn't hang out with a lot of theater kids, but
I haven't played that, but I played. I think it's called Zendu. It's by Looney Labs. You have these pyramids, and you, as the master, you have your pyramids behind a wall, and everybody starts playing with theirs, and you can tell them if theirs satisfies your rule or not. And then they do something else, and you're like, that one doesn't. And then by some point, one person has to identify what your rule is.
That's fantastic. Things and Rings, very similar. You have a Venn diagram. Only one player knows what the Venn diagram represents. Everybody else is trying to play out all of their cards in their hand. Every time that they play a card in an incorrect place, the game master will move it to the correct spot and order them to draw another card. And I don't know if I've ever actually played through a game where somebody figured out what was in them, but I've had a lot of fun. So
that's 2. Let's go for 3.
All right. For number 3.
Yeah.
I forgot to write this stuff down.
It's all right.
We'll go ahead and say Canvas.
You like Canvas a lot.
There's a lot of overlap here with the thematic games list that I have.
But you're a thematic gamer, so that's understandable.
Gamer, yeah.
Yeah.
Canvas is one of those ones. My mom, historically, not a very big board gamer, but I was able to bring her that one, and she had a great time with it.
Nice.
Yeah. So that one's got to make the top list. Yeah.
4.
For 4, Ahoy. Ahoy from Leader Games. It's a simple kind of ocean exploration, area control game. You're putting down tiles and trying to gain the most control over the 7 seas. Only if you're 2 factions. It's an asymmetrical game, so you also have smugglers who don't really control anything, but they're making secret bets on everybody else.
But you can play 3-player and add the Matt Dennis character, right?
I'm afraid to ask who that is.
Isn't there one guy that can just enter, just mess with either party?
There's the smugglers. Yeah. So the smugglers just carry stuff from island to island, and they get to make secret bets on who they think is going to win, and don't really have a lot of impact on the game, but they can really throw a wrench.
They mess with the 2 sides, but I might be thinking of a different game.
Yeah, they do get to increase the value of different areas. So if the Bluefin Squadron is setting up shop in one area and the smugglers can't get over there, then that's just going to stagnate in value. And they'll go and make another place more valuable, which another team might take advantage of.
Number 5.
Number 5. Goodness gracious. Oh, you know what? Number 5, Ready Set Bet. Ready Set Bet is another one that's just
So good.
It just gets. It's one of those ones. All my friends know it's one of my go-tos, and so if they're trying to get on my good side on one night, they say, "Hey Seth, you know that Ready Set Bet game? What do you think about playing that?" And it's yeah.
Do you like rolled horses or the app better?
The app all the way. I cannot get into the rolled horse. To be fair, I only
horses.
I did it one time and I had fun rolling the horses, but whenever I looked up, and this was on Thanksgiving, this was after my family had already played games for 2 hours, they were exhausted. They said, "We've been done betting for 15 minutes, Seth." I said, "Ooh, okay." I think my energy is a lot better placed on the other side of the table.
Gotcha.
I'm a big yeller. I love screaming at the digital horses.
I like yelling at the people.
Yes, yelling at the people is
Make your bet! Number 6.
Number 6, probably going to be I hate calling it a guilty pleasure, but it's only because it's so popular. Settlers of Catan is one that I love doing every now and then. I like a hostile negotiation game, which is exactly how I see it. I like threatening people to give me their bricks, you know.
Or I'm going to steal it here in a minute anyway.
Yeah. You've got 8 cards in your hand, bud. You really want to risk losing them in the next roll? You better trade me 2
I've only
bricks
got
for
2
1
cards,
sheep.
and I'm going to roll a 7. You and I both know what my luck is right now.
Exactly. So it's one I go back to. I used to not be able to stand the game. I played it too much, but I think as I've gotten a little bit older and, you know, my interests in games have shifted, that's just one I enjoy.
Yeah. And last but not least, your number 7.
All right, number 7. We're gonna go ahead and go with it's Botanic, but
something like that.
It's a French game. I know that much. Whenever I opened up the game, it came with English and French instruction. I believe the French ones were first.
Yeah.
It also came with a little metal coin. I don't know why. But it's a fun little game. It's a 2-player game, which I am just crazy about. Pretty much put any 2-player game in front of me, I have a great time with it. Lost Cities is another good one, but we're talking about Botanic right now. You are trying to make a... it's set in this weird dystopian future where plants don't really grow, but one scientist made a breakthrough machine to grow plants, and each of you are trying...
Rondo on them.
Yeah. Well, you know, it is what plants crave, to be fair. Right.
What, are you going to put water out the toilet on them?
Yeah. So you make these machines that have pipes that do carry the water from the toilets, and they feed the plants. And it's a simple tile drafting game. I guess it's not actually that simple. You are drafting tiles onto a shared board, and you have to put them in specific places. If they can't be placed, then you get to set other tiles free that have been on the board. It's very much a take that game, which that's one of my favorite parts of a 2-player game is setting up your opponent for failure.
Oh, yeah.
And this game is very much that. It's like
I bet your girlfriend loves that.
Oh yeah, she's crazy about it. I'm sure. I'll have to ask her.
Do you like me making you fail?
I mean, one of her favorite games is Jaipur, which is got one of the ultimate take that mechanics. Here, have a bunch of camels.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah,
love
but
them.
at the same time, I'm cashing in all these camels to take all the cards you wanted.
Yeah, pretty much any game from Space Cowboys, the 2-player games, all of those are so good.
Yeah.
Splendor Duel is so
Can I just make my number 7 all the Space Cowboys 2-player games?
Sure.
Fantastic. That's my answer. I'll take any of
and
them.
I didn't really recognize how good their 2-player games are, because I like a lot of 2-player games from others, like Lookout Spiel and the old Mayfair stuff, and what's the other one? Cosmos. Cosmos has some really good 2-players too.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Space Cowboys, I need to keep their 2-players on our radar for probably the foreseeable future, because we didn't know we needed a 2-player Splendor Duel.
Yeah, you don't realize...
Until we played it.
You don't realize how much
Splendor
Splendor
is
is.
pretty good.
I've never tried it. I've never tried Splendor at 2-player. It never even occurred to me until Splendor Duel came out, and I'm sure as heck not going back now.
No. Because now we're like, hey, it's 2 players. You want to play Splendor? What about Splendor Duel? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, those were Seth's 7 favorite games, roundabouts.
Yeah.
Seth answered 7 questions from us, more or less. Seth, thanks for coming back on.
Yeah.
You can find Seth at Metagames store just off of Sunshine at 65. You can find his social media posts on the Facebook page at Metagames Unlimited, as well as finding them on Instagram. Join him Tuesdays at Finnegan's Wake on, I don't remember the address. Do you remember the address?
It's on South Avenue downtown.
Just off the square.
If you're in downtown Springfield, you know where Finnegan's Wake is. Yeah. We all have smartphones,
Just
too.
Go south of the square slightly, look to your right. There's a red building front that looks like an Irish pub, because it is.
It is. It's Springfield's oldest Irish pub.
Yeah. So go in there on a Tuesday around
6 to 10.
6 to 10. Play some games.
Yeah. Got some drink specials, too. It's a fantastic time. Hope to see you there.
And then Thursday nights at Metagames from 6 to close is Thursday game night.
Of course.
Get on the Facebook around 4 or 5 o'clock and find out what meme Seth has dreamed up that day.
Something unhinged, I'm sure.
Yeah. And come out and play some games.
Yeah.
But we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
The 417 Gamer podcast is recorded and produced by Rick Bagwell and Andrea Smith. We want to thank Seth from Metagames coming on and being a guest. Our music we use, Kind, Gentle, Beautiful Person, and Making Up for Lost Time, was created by Origami Reptica. For links to our music, the show notes, and more, go to our Facebook page at Hobby Gaming Network. Till we hear from you next time, keep gaming in the 417.